Sunday, Granny Square Sunday Live, this week featuring the one and only Kevin, the porch goose. He is going to be getting a new scarf, and I am making it out of granny squares. So my thought was that I would start with, I really loved this thickness of scarf for Kevin. It's about 2 inches wide, and so I thought, maybe a little wider than that for a granny square one would work. This is the first granny square that I did, and I just did a center only, so you can see this lovely little green granny square center. And my thought was I would do a whole bunch of different greens, and just raided my stash for some good greens to do this with. And here's what I found. I will show you what they are. And then Kevin is going to wait patiently right here for his scarf. Okay, so this one is from Mainstays. It's just Walmart's green. It's just a good classic. This is the first one. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my hook. I don't know if you guys love these big safety pin things, but I sure do for granny squares in progress. Okay, so that one's out of the way. And I will show you the other colors that I have here. I have, this is also Mainstays. And what color is this one? It is Sea Turtle. That's a great name for it. Look at that green. Isn't that gorgeous? I absolutely love this green. Then I have this, which I believe is from Caron 1 Pound. And it is the grass color. And then I have this big twist, which might be hard to tell that it's a little different than this, but you can maybe see this is a darker, deeper green, and this is a brighter, kind of more vibrant. This is the rest of the Mainstays. These look like they might be duplicates of these others. So I've got quite a few little balls of green that I'm gonna go for first to try to use these up. I don't really have a plan other than I want to include as many greens as possible. I remember, so I don't know what everyone else's St. Patrick's Day traditions are, but we have a couple here. One of which is every year I make a Guinness chocolate cake, and it is ridiculously good. So that is what I do every St. Patrick's Day. And then the other thing I started doing as an adult, which is kind of a funny tradition, but I love it. I love to watch the QVC St. Patty's Day show. I haven't watched it as religiously since I'm no longer a person with cable TV or a stay-at-home mom. But back when I was a stay-at-home mom with cable TV, for whatever reason, I happened to turn it on, and it was fantastic. They had Irish dancers. They had several different Irish bands that they flew out for it. They featured all kinds of beautiful artisans. Of course, they had some beautiful Irish sweaters that I've purchased several times. That was the one thing that I always could not resist, was the sweaters, even though they were expensive. But I don't know if you've watched QVC or not, but QVC has like payment plans, and they make it way too easy, way too easy. Anyway, so I loved their sweaters. They showed the artisans who made them. They showed the sheep all over Ireland. They did whiskey tours too. And they had this stuff called Connemara marble, and they made little jewelry pieces out of that, like little rings and stuff, that were absolutely gorgeous. And they showed the marble quarries. Anyway, the reason I got started on this discussion is they would have all different types of Irish legends that they were talking about. Hello, welcome. If you're just joining the live, I am making a scarf for Kevin out of all the different greens that I've got. And talking about some St. Patty's Day traditions for the scarf that are inspired the scarf. So when they would have all these different Irish legends that they discussed on QVC on St. Patrick's Day, they talked about 40 shades of green, 40 shades of green. And I love that idea. I don't know if that's actually true. It kind of makes sense that there would be that many shades of. So I had this idea. Obviously, I don't have 40 shades of green. Well, maybe that's not obvious. I don't have 40 shades of green yarn, but I do probably have 5 or 6. And so I'm just going to go ahead and do what I've got and see how many different greens we can get into this scarf for Kevin. So I am going to go ahead and just make up a couple more. So I've got 1, 2. So now we have 2 of these granny square inners. And then I'm going to join as you go, or continuous join, to finish these off and put them all on one scarf. And I think I'm going to do either a white or a cream. I was thinking white because Kevin's white, but then I actually really like cream a little better. If I'm looking at this Afghan in the back that's an oatmeal color, I feel like that would look really nice too. So maybe that will be more of what we do for our little Kevin here. Going on my granny squares. And if you are joining me, please let me know what you are up to today. Hello, hello. Okay, so QVC is one of my favorite St. Patrick's Day traditions. I'm going to try to see if I can find it again this year. I also really like to listen to Irish music leading up to St. Patrick's Day. And that Guinness chocolate cake is amazing. It's funny, I don't really drink much generally, but beer in particular, I don't drink much of. And every year, I purchase Guinness, the smallest amount I'm allowed to purchase. And then I usually take a sip of it before I'm making it because it feels like tradition. And then I make it with the cake, and the cake, you bake it in there, but then you also make a Guinness chocolate sauce that you drizzle over it, and it absorbs into it. It's kind of one of those poke cakes where you poke all over after it's finished, and then you drizzle the chocolate Guinness sauce, and it's like Guinness, brown sugar, chocolate, cocoa powder, and what was the other thing that you add? Maybe a little salt and maybe vanilla. I can't remember. I have the recipe, obviously, but you poke the cake all over and then you just drizzle that on. And once it absorbs into the one side, then you flip it over and do the same thing on the other side. And once all of that has absorbed, then you cover it with a chocolate ganache, and it's fantastic. I don't mean to toot my own horn, but it is pretty darn tasty. I originally found online, but over the years I have edited it and changed it, and so I feel like it's mine now. How recipes tend to change. I've doubled this, I've halved that, I've added a little bit of extra here and there of various ingredients to suit our tastes. And I cannot say enough good things about it. It's so good. Anyway, so that is one of our major traditions. We also have corned beef and cabbage for dinner, which, what's not to love about corned beef and cabbage? It's honestly one of my favorite foods. And we have potatoes with that and a little bit of mustard usually to go with that corned beef and cabbage. And then we will have Reubens for days afterwards, and that is so good. Oh my gosh, I am making myself hungry with all this talk. Then what else do we do for St. Patrick's Day? Well, obviously we wear green. That might be about all we do. It's all about food for us. I don't know. What about you? I appreciate good St. Patrick's Day food. When I was a kiddo, I went and saw the parades the St. Patrick's Day Parade in Kansas City, and I don't think my kids have been there to see that. So I've thought about trying to do that this year, but this year one of my kids is getting her wisdom teeth out not long before, so it will probably not be a good year to go see a parade, but maybe in a future year. I hope all of my friends on the East Coast who got buried in a blizzard last week were able to dig out. I ended up going to a conference in Maryland, the DC area, and there were a couple of people from the Boston area who were trying to join us, and they couldn't get to the conference until Thursday because they were so snowed in. But they made it for the Thursday session, and that was nice to see them and hear them present. And so, yeah, I hope my friends in Pennsylvania and Connecticut, that you all were able to dig out just fine, and that you kept your power the whole time. I tell you, this winter has been a little weird. We got a storm, but I think only just one. It wasn't bad at all. So I don't know if you can actually see me crocheting. I'm going to pop this down just a touch so that you can see a little better what I'm up to. Okay, so it's not very flattering that way, but that's okay. I think the point is a little more important. So here we've got 4 of these now. So I just have this little ball of this Caron grass one, but I'm probably going to pause on it just so I can add some other colors, because that's what I really want, is a lot of different colors here. So I think this is some of the Mainstays green. Mainstays is the Walmart brand. It's just good solid green color, very basic primary color. I guess not technically a primary color, but you know what I mean. A very fundamental color, just it's a good one. And I really also love this sea turtle color that they have, which is also Mainstays. Look at that beautiful green. I love these kind of darker foresty greens. That's my favorite shade of green for sure. So I'm looking forward to making some of those. Okay, I am just doing the inners for these, no outers, because I'm going to do a very quick join, or continuous join, to put all of these green centers together. And I think that'll be a really fun way for Kevin to be all dressed up. When I first got Kevin, I had visions of doing much, much more for his outfits, but it turns out that scarves are about the perfect outfit for me at this point for Kevin. Poor Kevin. Maybe when I have a little more time on my hands, then Kevin will have better outfits. But until then, I'm sorry, you just get a scarf, my friend. Let's see here. Oop, we've got a little tangle wanting to start. But no, you don't, yarn. No, you don't. Okay, so I will be giving an update, and it will probably be next week's live, that I show my blue all-in-one vest that I've been making. So I made some progress on that while I was traveling, and it's one of those, this is why you don't do things this way sort of stories. So I will definitely have to tell the story again, but I actually made, so you know, when I first did the vest, it was way too big. The armhole was, you know, like I could probably fit my whole body through the armhole, and I'm not that small, so that's pretty impressively big. And then so I took it apart and restarted trying to get it so that the armhole was just right, and I did do that for one armhole, but then I started joining while I was sitting on the plane and listening to a good book, and I was not able to like really spread it out and take a look. I just thought I had it all down, and sure enough, wouldn't you know, I made the armhole too small. Bless. So now I have to take it out again, and that will probably be my project for next week's live. because I really did want to finish that soon, so I can wear it while it's still chilly, but I don't foresee me having the time to do that this week. So, and Kevin was looking rather shabby with this Valentine's Day scarf still, now that it's March 1st, you know. We got to keep up the right look, right, Kevin? Oh, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen porch geese in your neighborhood. I live in the Midwest, so I think it's a thing here. But I did see that one of my neighbors also has a porch goose and has also dressed their porch goose up, which is fun to see. So Kevin has friends in the neighborhood. That's nice for him and for me. I will not be winning any porch goose dress up contests because at this point Kevin just has scarves, but he is happy for them. That's a good thing about inanimate objects. They can just not vote. Okay, so here we've got 3 of each of these greens. So I've got 2 colors of green, 3 centers each. I think I'm going to start on a different shade of green. I don't know how many I need, but I am just using up my loose, my leftover yarn. This is just a scrap yarn thing with all these different greens. Ooh, I think I'll go with this one next. It's a little brighter and that will be a lot of fun. So here we go. Kevin, you're going to have a lot of beautiful shades of green to wear, my friend. Okay, so the way I do granny squares is I start with a chain 4. I know you can do a magic ring, but I feel like magic rings are a little fiddly. And then I chain 2 or 3, depends on how I'm crocheting, how the yarn is. Today I'm doing 3. And then I go into that center right here for 2 more stitches. And then I chain 2. So here's my 2 double crochets. And then I chain 2. And then I go ahead and go back in there for the granny square cluster of 3. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. And then I go ahead and chain 2 for the corners and a cluster of 3 double crochets. So 1, 2 double crochets and 3 double crochet. And that is our granny cluster. You can see that just turns out so pretty. And then there's the 2 chain stitches and then 3 clusters of double crochets, the 2 chains, and then we're back to the beginning of this, which is 2 double crochets and a chain 3. All right, I'm going to finish this last cluster because I've done 3 out of 4. So I need 2 chains and then 3 double crochets. So 1 double, 2nd double, and 3rd double. And then I'm going to go ahead and chain 1. And I don't know how other people do it, but my approach is to go into the top. Let's see if I've got a way to show this any better. So I go into this top spot right here. So we've got our chain 3. I go into that top one, but I try to grab that back loop of it at the same time. See if I can just go ahead and point that out a little better. It's maybe hard to see with this dark green, but I'll go through the back so I can show you. So here is the chain 3. I don't know if that's very visible. I go into the top one, but I also take the one under it right there, that space that grabs both of them, and that tends to keep it in a nice straight up and down if and it makes it look actually like a double crochet. And so I just chain 1 and then I go into that and do a slip stitch, and then I chain to trim it and pull it through to make the knot. So here we have the finished one, and here's how it looks. So you can see this is the starting one where we've got our 3 chains, and then this went into that, and then the 2 double crochets, and then chain 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, chain 2, 3 double crochet cluster, which is our final one because it's all 4, but then we have chain 1, and then I go ahead and join it here with a slip stitch, and so it looks on the top just the same. And then when I weave this end in, it really does look, I'll pull it in a little so you can see the look. When I weave the end in, it really does square it pretty nicely, and so that it's ready for its next round. Okay, so there we go. We've got 1 of this color, and I'm going to do 2 more of this color. And you can see I've got the 3 greens that's starting to look really good with the different shades of green in there. I'm excited about the way this is going to look for little Kevin. He's going to like it. I mean, he doesn't have a choice really, you know, he's a goose, porch goose. I will put the link for him, the affiliate link for the Amazon porch goose. I got mine from Amazon. I've ordered them from both Amazon and Walmart because I ordered one for my sister for Christmas and for my mother-in-law, my ex-mother-in-law for Christmas. And I think I got one of theirs from Walmart and one from Amazon, and it seemed like the Walmart shipping was slightly faster, if that matters to you, but the price was identical. So if you are trying to get a goose quick so that you can start adding beautiful scarves to your geese, then Walmart would maybe the better option. I guess it really depends on what kind of distribution you have, but yeah, Walmart tended to be just a day faster than the Amazon geese. So, but maybe you've already purchased a porch goose for yourself or someone you love, and they are hanging out on the porch, just chilling like a villain. This little guy, we kept him in when it was real bad weather, but now that it's just nice out, nice, I guess, is relative. Yesterday it was in the 60s here and absolutely gorgeous. We went out and got some yard work done. We washed the car by hand. It was absolutely lovely. And today it's in the 30s and really chilly, and yeah, I might have to go unplug my hose because I left it plugged in thinking, oh, we're ready for spring, and I do not need that to freeze over. So I probably ought to go do that now that I'm talking about it. Okay, so I have 2 of that color now and 1 more, and I will be ready to move on to my next color. I'm not planning to make this one quite as long, so chain 4 to start. As this Valentine's Day one, I don't think it needs to be, I mean, I like the look of it wrapped a couple of times. It really does look nice, but you know, sometimes speed is the name of the game, and that might be the case for this because we do not have all the time in the world to make Kevin all his beautiful outfits and scarves. You know, I was thinking it would be really fun to crochet a top hat. I'm sure I have some black yarn. That would look really snazzy, especially for St. Patty's Day, kind of a leprechaun look. However, needs must. We're just going to do scarves this year for Kevin. But if anyone, you can just purchase fancy outfits off of Amazon or Walmart or wherever. They sell outfits for these geese and they're really fun. But I mean, I'm a crochet artist. I love to make things. I wish I had more time to make things, but I will do with it what I can. And for now, that is just going ahead and making him scarves, and he will be happy with it. I think after this one, I'm going to do kind of a spring Easter theme. So maybe just a bunch of pastel colors. I think that would look really nice. And again, we're just doing a scarf. All right, so we now have 3 of this color. So that looks really lovely. I don't know if you can see those 3 different greens in there. It's just absolutely, it's going to be so pretty. Okay, and now I'm going to this, I believe this is the same, no, oh, this might be a slightly different color. Looks like it has a slightly different sheen, doesn't it? So I think this is not the same. Obviously, this is just a remnant, so I don't have the label for it. I'm just using up my scraps here, which is another good reason to get a porch goose, so that you can use up your scraps for beautiful projects. So let's see. Apparently this one got a little unwound. Here we go. I purchased a bunch of different greens for Christmas one year. I did a wreath over, I covered a wire wreath. I don't know if any of you have tried that, but I basically just made a long tube. It wasn't even a tube when I started it. It was just flat, like a long rectangle, back and forth of, I did a little bit of extra texturing where I did some half double crochets and then crocheted into the back to make that nice little V braided look on it. But for the most part, I just did single crochet back and forth across it, and varying widths, varying colors, and it was all reds and greens. And that was it for the whole thing. For a Christmas wreath, and I really, really love that. I did two of them. One ended up being for my bedroom above my bed, and then the other one I ended up putting on my pantry door. It's a little one, and both of those just turned out really nice. And anyway, in order to make those, I ended up purchasing a bunch of just random, all the greens that I liked. If I saw a green and I liked it, I purchased it so that it could add a little variety in there, and I did not regret that at all. So, and red's a little trickier. I felt like it just didn't have as many varieties of red. Like there were a couple, but not as many as green. Because if you get too many varieties of red, it starts looking like pink. And with Christmas, you don't want pink. I mean, my daughter would love a pink one, but I didn't want pink for mine. So it's funny how you can have light green and, you know, a green with a lot of white in it, and it will still be green, but you have a red with a lot of white in it and it's pink. And so that was not the look I was going for. Okay, so I ended up with a lot of greens and to add the variety of color, but not as many reds is that point there. Ooh, that does look nice with that. Okay. Next, so I'm doing 3 of each color. And I do think these are slightly different, so I'm going to go ahead and do both of those. The Sea Turtle is the name of the Mainstays version of this dark, beautiful green, in case you are wondering. But it looks like that is all my colors. 1, 2, 3, 4. What am I on? Yeah, 3, 4. Okay. And after I finish these 2, I am going to go. So I would love to hear if anyone else has any great St. Patty's Day projects on their hooks, or any whatever projects you are working on. I would love to hear about it. So if you happen to have a moment to throw something in the chat, that would be amazing. If not, that's okay. I can keep chatting. I'm clearly a chatty patty all on my own, for better or for worse. This is going to be a quick project for sure. Oh, there's a hair. Want a hair in there? Okay, so double crochet clusters for the granny stitch, and then 1, 2 chains between, and the centers always go so fast. And then I'm just doing a join as you go, or a continuous join to add them all together, and just doing 1 row of grannies. And so that will be a super quick little scarf. Might take me just as long to weave in the ends as it does to do continuous join. We shall see. Okay, where's that popping? All right, there you go. Boop. Okay, got it. And 1 more done. Pop it on my little paper clip, and last one for this session. 1, 2, 3, 4. These are all for worsted weight yarns that I'm using, and this is just scrap yarn that I've got laying around. And I am using a 6.5 millimeter hook. This is my favorite hook. It's a tulip. Yeah, I love these tulip hooks. I also really like the Clover Amours. So that would be my other recommendation if you are just trying to find a good basic. I feel like the Clover Amours is a better price point. And I really love the feel of the tulip though, so I'm going to stick with that. Although when I don't have the right sizes, I use the Clover Amours because I bought a whole set of those and it was a pretty good deal. I can't remember the exact price I paid for them, but I really felt like it was a decent deal for the quality you got. Okay, and last granny cluster, 1, 2, 3, and then we join it to the other end. Here, for some reason, I'm having trouble seeing it on this yarn, which is funny because I've got great light today. It's a little bit overcast and I've got my windows open and I'm sitting right in front of it. So happy Sunday. Hello, welcome. Happy Granny Square Sunday. Okay, so here's all the colors I've got going. So I need to add another color. I'm thinking this other one that isn't quite that same sheen, but very similar shade. We're still going to do it. We're just going to do it. Okay. I think this is the center pole. Is it? Is it? Where are we here? What have we got going on? Okay. I don't know what. I think I found the center pole, but not the end of the center pole. This is a weird one. All right, folks, this does not seem to be going the way I was hoping. I am just making a yarn mess here, so I'm going to just tuck this back in and go for a different end. Actually, I've had good luck in the past with mainstays. That's one of the reasons I've actually really liked them. The yarn that makes me the craziest is Lion Brand because they don't have their center poles easy to find. I don't know why they don't. I feel like that's what everyone prefers, and yet, for whatever reason, Lion Brand, even though they're such a big and famous brand, their center poles are just a beast to try to find. Okay, 1, 2, 3, here we go. Whoop, this yarn. Okay, I am really loving this color. I feel like I might want to make something to wear in this color. I have hazel eyes, and I feel like this matches my eyes pretty well. The base color of my eyes. So I think it would actually go well if I were to make something out of that color. I wonder, I mean, would it be weird to make a sweater out of this? So it's tricky when you're making sweaters. You want it to be kind of a thinner yarn because you don't want to add extra bulk to your person. At least I don't typically want to add extra bulk. But also, I want it to make up pretty quick, and you can make things up pretty quick if you use a bulkier yarn. So, you know, it's kind of, you have to balance it out. Do I want to make it quickly, or do I want it to be a little bit thinner so it's not adding a little bit of extra padding and thickness, which some of us don't really need. Although, I mean, this sweatshirt, you know, like I don't mind that. So what's the difference really, right? Okay, so almost done with this center for this color. This is the sea turtle color, which I'm a big fan of. Happy Sunday, everyone, as Kitty said. And my sister just got 2 puppies. Well, one puppy is home with her and the other one needs to stay with its mama a little longer, and then it will be coming home with her very soon. And so we have been talking about puppies quite a bit at our house. So your name, Angel Kitty, made me think of our little dog cousins, I guess it would be. I don't know what it would. Okay, so I don't know if you can tell the difference in the color or the sheen on this, but there is a slight difference between this one and the ones below it. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? But I feel like the difference is there enough that it won't look like I overdid it with that color. So we'll go with it. It's good enough for government work, as they say. Okay, so I need 2 more of these and then I am done, son, which is very exciting. 2, 3, 4, and then I will need to pick, and this will probably be in a later video. I don't know if I'm going to do this as a live or if I'm going to try to do it ahead of that, because I do want to show, I want to put Kevin out on the porch with his new scarf. So I don't know if I want to wait for a Sunday live. Maybe I could do a midweek live, although I'm thinking about my week and thinking maybe not. We shall see. Either way, Kevin needs his new scarf. Do any of you have porch geese, or is this just a me thing? I know some people do, and I've seen some crochet people with porch geese, and it made me so happy. So hopefully some of you have porch geese as well. Okay, so this is my second one of this, and 2 chains, and then the 4th cluster, 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, this is definitely a different yarn than the other one. The other one has a sheen and it also felt a lot thinner. This one feels like a true worsted. The other one kind of felt like a thin worsted, if you know what I mean. Okay. So 2 and last one, and then I will need to figure out what color we are going to do for the joining. I'm thinking cream. I was thinking, so what do you think? Do you think cream would look okay with his white complexion? I feel like it either maybe needs to be kind of a taupey cream, like this color, the oatmeal color behind him, or it needs to be white. Like an off-white might not be enough contrast for you to be able to tell that it's not his skin. But maybe that looks okay. Maybe that just looks like it's a bunch of little 4-leaf clovers, which is kind of the look that I'm hoping it will give it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's done. Yeah, I'm hoping that each of these green inners will kind of look almost 4-leaf cloverish with the white or cream or neutral background of whatever color. Maybe I could do a brown, like a taupey brown. That might be a good one. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's the direction I'm leaning, is some sort of neutral, but not quite white. At first I was thinking white, but now seeing him here, I feel like white on white, I like a little contrast in my life. So I feel like that's just gonna not quite be enough contrast for me and Kevin here. What do you think, Kevin? Kevin? He's not really saying much, so I guess he'll just go with whatever I like. He usually does. Okay, and last one. Okay, thank you for joining me. This has been really fun. I'm excited to see how this looks. I'm going to go raid my yarn stash after I finish this one and see what I can find to be my joining color. I'm leaning towards more of a taupey color. I think that would just look really nice. And here's what we've got for the colors of Kevin's scarf to be. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different colors, and I did 3 of each. So now I've got to do all the fun weaving ends. So 15 little squares to weave in. And these little big, huge paper clip things, they are glorious for granny squares. I don't know if any of you have used them, but they are one of my very favorites for kind of herding the cats, as they say, of granny squares. So anyway, thank you for joining me for Granny Square Sunday Live, and I will see you next week live. I might be doing a midweek live if I can get it all together. Oh, thank you for the hearts. And happy St. Patty's Day coming up. Only 2 weeks, which is why we've got to get this together. So I will try to do a midweek live to get this done, but if not, it will be next Sunday. And I will see you all later. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining.